Hi guys, welcome to the first part of a multi-part vlog over the PlayStation Vita. Now, through this series I plan on going into the tech specs, how it compares with other systems, and also gameplay and the different things you can do during said gameplay. But today, I think we need to focus on tech specs. At the time of recording this, the Vita Slim, or Vita 2000 as it is also called, has not been released. But by the time you guys get to see this video, May 6th will have passed and the Vita Slim will be on the market. Meaning you will no longer see this Vita that I am going to be showing you. So, with that being said, let's get into the specs, shall we? The system has an ARM Cortex A9 quad-core processor. It's a 5-inch 16:9 screen at a resolution of 960 by 544. Now, first off, I know you're going to say that's an odd number. It's higher than what you would see with a PlayStation 2 game, which is a 480. It's standard def. But it's less than what you would see with a PS3 game, but most people like to compare it to the PS3 and say the graphics are on par with PS3. Maybe a little less at times, depending on the game, who makes it, yada yada. HD knows no bounds in terms of size, in terms of how big you can get. It knows no bounds in terms of how small you can get. Your eye can only distinguish so much. Meaning, if you tried to pack 1080 in this, you wouldn't be able to tell it. It's too small. Now, things to note, the screen is a touch screen. You can touch everywhere on it. Also, the rear, as you see, I have a skim on it. I'm not worried about bubbles on the back as you can't see it. But the reason for having a skim on this is a touchpad. I have this system turned off right now so we can go through everything spec-wise outside. You have a select and a start button. You also have a PlayStation button similar to what you have in the center of a PlayStation 3 controller. You have your left trigger, right trigger, volume controls, and power. You also have a front camera and a rear camera. You can use this for Skype or on some of the games. For those of you who use the PSP, you'll remember PSP had pretty much the same layout with the buttons, your D-pad and all that, but it only had a left analog stick. Can't do a whole lot with the left analog stick, especially when you get into shooters, things like that. You really need this right one, which they have incorporated with the Vita. When we get into the gaming part of it, I will show you how PSP games, which you may put on here, you can rework to utilize this right stick. Now to get into what you need to start up your system. And this is where we're going to get into some differences in this Vita and the Vita Slim. The Vita Slim has a different charging port. See, this is your charging port right here. It's a proprietary port. The Vita Slim has switched over to a micro USB, or a mini USB, excuse me. This has an OLED screen. Beautiful, vibrant colors, but needs more power and more room. But not a lot. And the Vita Slim has an LCD screen. meaning the colors are a little less vibrant. In fact, sometimes they're downright washed out. Get at least a 16 gigabyte memory card. Note this thing is small and it's a proprietary deal just for the Vita. They make them in 1 gig, 2 gig, 4 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig, and 64 gig. 16 gig is a good starter. If you think you need more, you can always get more. Because there's so much you can do with this system, you don't have to worry, you can back all this up. You'll note at the bottom of the system, you have this, right near your serial number. It's still right here. If you get your fingernail in there and pop it open, is where you put your card. And when you're into things like this, memory cards, anything other than games, you want to make sure they're facing the rear. And now, there's no way to mess this up because they are pinned. You can tell if they're not going. You gotta slide that in there. Don't know if you heard that click, but it's clicked down in place. You shut that, lock it, it's good. This right here where it actually says PSVita, you lift that up. That's where you put your games. Games always face towards the front of the system. Now, I don't actually have to put a game in here because this thing is loaded up with games already, but I'm going to go ahead and put in Persona 4 Golden, or P4G. Then you just slide it in there like I did, click it, close that, you're good to go. Alright, I'm going to press this start button and start her up. As it loads, I want to say I hope you enjoyed this spec video. I know it wasn't quite as fun as other things I've done, but when we return in a couple of weeks, I will get into the fun that is playing the PlayStation Vita. Till then, cheers.